Good morning. This is your gentle flow and deep stretch class. You're going to grab maybe a couple of blocks, a pillow or a bolster if you have one, and then possibly a strap, yeah? I think I've got some new people on, so my name's Laura Beth, for those of you who are new. I have my blocks set up like a T. So we're going to start off in what's called a supportive fish pose. So you'll kind of move this around to where it fits your unique body and anatomy, because you're going to be here for a minute or two, just kind of getting acclimated and letting your chest and your shoulders naturally open. So the way that I do this is to bring my block, and I kind of take it, so if you were to be wearing a sports bra, it would go kind of like at the base of your sports bra line. If you are not wearing a sports bra, then you're going to kind of find the, maybe like your second to last floating rib. Yeah, like around there. And then you might even move it up a little bit. Yeah, because today that's not exactly where I need to open. I need to go a little bit higher. And then I rest my head back on the block, the second one. And then you can kind of feel this out. If that's not enough opening for you, you can always go higher. So I'm going to lift up, and I'm actually going to take my long block to level 2 and my other block to level 3, so to the highest level. And then I'm going to lie back down. It's going to be a little bit different, so I'm going to have to find that space so that my spine is resting on the block and I'm getting the opening that I'm looking for. Perfect. So it shouldn't be painful, but it might be slightly uncomfortable. But then you really want to just let your upper body kind of wrap on top of this block. So you're going to start to notice that your chest starts to open. Now I have my feet, my legs in a supine butterfly pose. So Supta Baddha Konasana. The soles of my feet together, my heels coming in towards my sits bones. Feel free to take that space, or if you need something different, you could just extend your legs forward, or your feet could be on the ground, you know, with your knees pointing up. So find what you need. And then I'm going to invite you to close down your eyes. Relax your brows. And then allow for your jaw to relax. For your teeth to kind of separate, and for your clavicles to open. Good. And then if you have this butterfly shape with your legs, the knees are going to just start to fall open. Maybe you take one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart, and give yourself a moment here. You're just breathing, right? Remember that nothing has to be perfect today. It just has to be honest. And I feel like honesty right now is just the best medicine, right? So whatever it is that shows up, let it show up. Whatever doesn't show up, let it stay away. Yeah. Now with your eyes closed down, take a deep breath in. And out. Breathe in through your nostrils. And then open mouth side out. Two more just like that. Breathe in through your nose. And out through your mouth. In through your nose. And out through your mouth. Take one more like that. Breathe in through the nose. mouth. Now take an inhale through your nostrils. Go ahead and seal your lips. And exhale through your nose. Start to cultivate some inner heat through your Ujjayi pranayama, your Ujjayi breath. So you inhale through your nostrils. Let your rib cage open in all four directions so that your lungs can go to full capacity. Now, obviously, this block underneath you is going to restrict you somewhat, right? And then you exhale through your nostrils. Let the breath travel back down. Empty out your lungs. Relax your face. And then you inhale, let the breath travel back up. So you feel the breath move up your spine, all the way up to your ribs, to your lungs. See if you can get it to pass through that heart space and reach all the way up to your throat. And then you exhale to empty, to release, to soften, to let go. Good, y'all. Now as you're here, if it feels good to kind of roll the back of your head from side to side, kind of getting a little bit of pressure on the block. You're still breathing in that same fashion, in that same rhythm. Let your breath take you through your whole practice today, even though it's gentle flow and deep stretch, right? So sometimes it's easy to disconnect from the breath because it's not a vinyasa, right? But your breath still precedes your movement. It precedes everything. And it's your barometer, both on your mat, off your mat. If you can't breathe, whatever you're doing is not for you, right? All right, y'all. If you're rolling your head from side to side, gently come back to center. If you have your knees open like I do, softly draw them back towards one another. Let your feet come down to the ground. And then press your elbows, maybe even your forearms and your hands down so that you can press up slightly and remove the blocks out from underneath you. Once that happens, I want you to lie back down and let your spine completely rest back on the floor. Relax your shoulders from your ears. Take your right hand back to your low belly. Take your left hand to your heart. Take a deep breath in. Let your belly press into your right hand. The breath is going to travel all the way up. You'll feel your heart lift and press into your left hand. And then as you exhale, the pressure releases off of your left palm. And then the pressure releases off of your right palm. So you're letting your bones just rest on the mat for a moment. Take 2 more just like that. Breathe in. And out. Last one, breathe in. And out. Now let your arms open out to a T. And allow your right ankle to come onto your left knee, your left thigh. And let your right knee just fall away from your chest, yeah? Now you're going to gently draw your navel towards your spine, so you're supporting your low back as you move here, but I want you to take an inhale. On the exhale, drop your knees to the right, so getting a stretch through your left side body, your left psoas. If this causes a weird arching of your low back, remember to pull your navel towards your spine. Now you inhale, come back through center. We're going to move this a little bit. Exhale, drop your knees to the left, so it's like a figure 4 twist, and turn your face to the right. Inhale, come back through center, so the belly is lightly drawn in. Exhale your knees to the right, turn your face to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, drop your knees to the left and turn your face to the right. Let's do one more on this side. Inhale. Exhale, knees to the right, face to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, let your knees fall to the left, turn your face to the right. Be here for just a moment. So getting a little bit of a twist after having our hearts open. Turn your face towards the right. Maybe your right ear comes all the way down. On your next inhale, come right back through center. And on the exhale, slowly release. Hug your knees in towards your chest for a reset for just a moment. And then let your feet come back down to the ground. Take your left ankle to your right knee, your right thigh. Open your arms out to a T, palms face down. Take an inhale here. Now let your low back come down. So there's a baby tuck of your pelvis, right? Now on the exhale, drop your knees to the left, turn your face to the right, being careful not to overarch your low back. So keep your belly pulled in. You're stretching the right side body and your right psoas. On the inhale, come back through center. And as you exhale, drop your knees to the right, turn your face to the left, getting that figure four twist. Oof. And then you inhale, come right back through center. Exhale, knees to the left, face to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, knees to the right, face to the left. Good. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees left, face right. Inhale, center. This one we hold. Exhale, drop your knees to the right. Turn your face to the left. So your left foot comes down to the ground. And then maybe your left ear comes all the way down. Don't force it, don't push or pull, but if it happens, let it. And keep breathing. On your inhale, slowly come back through center. As you exhale, unravel, hug your knees in towards your chest and let your big toes come to touch. Now bring your hands onto your knees. Inhale, I want you to open your knees out. So you start to draw circles on the ceiling with your kneecaps. What this is actually doing is creating that circular rotation of the ball and socket joint of your hip, right? So move into that space and allow for it to also open up through your low back, right? And then come through center and take those circles in the opposite direction. It's okay if your hips feel kind of crunchy. It's normal. Make sure you're breathing. All right, y'all. Take one more inhale. Exhale to your happy baby. Ananda Balasana. Peace fingers to your big toes. Knees towards your armpits. Your thighs kind of parallel to the ground. Now you could rock kind of side to side. You could be still. Just want you to warm up your hips just a little bit here. And then let your feet go. Bring your hands behind your thighs. Now you're going to take spinal rocks and rolls. Feel free to use your hands if you need to, right? So you keep your low belly pulled in. You inhale to lift your hips. Exhale to rock forward. Your low back stays rounded so it doesn't slap against the mat as you move. Good, y'all. And allow for that supple sensation across your spine. And then on your last one, come all the way forward. Bring your hands down to the ground. And I got to scoot back because I'm all the way up towards my dresser. And then from here, I'm going to have you in this box pose. Shift yourself all the way kind of forward onto your belly. Now, bring your forearms forward and rest your forehead on your hands. So you're kind of crossing your hands one on top of the other. Your hips are down on the ground. And just rest your forehead on whichever hand you have on top. Relax your shoulders back and down from your ears. Now, if you need to rock your hips kind of side to side, feel free to do that too. Moving around, yeah? And then just breathe here for a moment. Let your spine acclimate. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, slide your hands right outside of your chest. Your fingertips point forward and your elbows cricket wing back. So your elbows point back, your forehead is down. Relax your shoulders back and down from your ears. Now inhale, use your spinal muscles to lift your chest. So you're in a low cobra, baby cobra. And then exhale, melt yourself back down. Inhale, roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. And then exhale, melt yourself back down. This time, if you want full up dog, inhale, curl your toes up underneath you. Pull your heart forward. Lift your chest, and then just kind of be here for a moment. So you can choose. This is not actually even full up dogs. My knees and my shins are still down on the ground. But from here, you're zipping your low belly in and up. Your shoulders stack over your wrists. Take an inhale. Roll your shoulders back. As you exhale, gaze to the left. And then you inhale right back through center. Exhale, gaze to the right. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, melt yourself back down. This time, make your hands like kind of a diamond shape. And then take your forehead down to that diamond. So moving a little bit differently through the traps and through your upper arm bones, your shoulders, right? Good. And you have a slightly different lift of your chest here. Now, completely exhale here in this space. On your inhale, bring your, you know what, I'll start with my left leg just because that's the one y'all can see. Bring your left knee up to a 90-degree bend. It's kind of how some people sleep, right? And then flex your left foot. So you want your knee to make a straight line from your hip. So your hip to your thigh to your knee. And then your knee to your shin to your ankle. And then your foot is flexed. Perfect. Breathe right here. And if you were to need more here, you could take a block or a small rolled up towel and you could place it underneath your left knee, right? It's going to increase what's happening on your left hip flexor. So the stretch is going to get intensified, right? Now from here, come on to your right forearm and take your left hand kind of to your left thigh and twist yourself open, right? So your left shoulder's opening slightly towards the sky. Keep pulling your belly in and up. Now your left hand could also just stay on the ground and lift you, yeah? Relax your right shoulder back and down. Keep drawing your navel towards your spine and allow for that sensation of stretch on the front side of your body. So I feel this through the right psoas, through the right side body, all of the connective tissue between my ribs and my hips, yeah? Good, y'all. Take one more inhale. And then you slowly come out the same way you came in. Bring your left arm back down, your chest down as you exhale. If you have a block underneath your left leg, slowly remove it. And then slide your left leg back long behind you. Shake your hips side to side. Completely exhale. And then slowly bring your right knee up. Your hands kind of making your little triangle or your diamond and your forehead is down. But your right knee comes up to that 90-degree bend. So your knee to your thigh to your hip is aligned. And then your knee to your shin to your ankle is aligned. Flex your right foot. Now this already creates a lot of sensation for you. This is exactly where you stop. You don't go any deeper. If you're like, I need a little bit more, that's when you slide a block underneath your right knee or a small towel. And then you just stay here for a moment and get situated here, right? So many times we get so focused on getting to the next point, especially if we know where we're going, that we skip the steps. So let yourself get here first. And then when this fits like a glove, you come onto your left forearm. And then you roll your right shoulder up slightly. And you twist open towards the right. Now I want you to draw your navel in and up. Support your low back. Your right hand could come to your right thigh. If you're feeling super supported and strong here, I'm going to leave my right hand down on the ground because I actually feel like it intensifies and deepens what's happening for me in my body. So You might gaze up to the ceiling just above you. If it doesn't create tension or pain in your neck, you might gaze kind of towards your right foot. And continue to pull your left hip towards your left elbow. Create that stretch in your left side body, while at the same time, twisting your spine. Remember to take deep, even breaths. So if you stopped breathing or you started holding your breath or it got shallow, I want you to move back a few spaces, right? Take one more inhale here. Exhale, come out the same way you came in. So bring your right forearm down. Make your diamond. Let your forehead come down. Release the block if you have it underneath your right knee. And then slide your right leg long behind you. Once more. Shake your hips out. Now bring your hands outside of your chest. Inhale, press your palms down. Lift your shoulders, lift your chest, and then exhale to a child's pose. I would take a traditional child's pose with your knees and your inner thighs touching. Drape your chest over your thighs and let your forehead come down. Relax your shoulders back and down. Roll your forehead side to side. And then inhale, press up into your box pose. On the exhale, let's all meet in downward facing dog. And then take your feet about hip width distance apart. Yeah, hands maybe shoulder width distance. Good, y'all pedal out your feet. And you know what? I'm gonna have you do something here real quick. Go ahead and come back down to your hands and knees. I'm gonna take a quick cat-cow. Stack your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, your knees underneath your hips. On the inhale, let a soft belly drop down. Lift your chin, lift your tail. And then as you exhale, reverse the movement. Dome out your upper back. Let the crown of your head hang down. Ooh. And then as you inhale, belly's down, heart's forward. There's a sway to your low back. And on the exhale, dome out your upper back, tuck your chin, tuck your tail, navel to your spine. Let's take 2 more of those. On the inhale, belly down. And on the exhale, belly up. Last round. Inhale. And exhale. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, curl up your toes. Lift your hips up and back and find your downward facing dog. So your feet are hip width distance apart. Hands about shoulder width distance apart, unless for whatever reason that's just not working for you. Breathe in. And out. On the inhale, bend your knees, slowly look forward. And then exhale, step your feet behind your hands at the top of your mat. Your feet are going to be hip width distance apart, toes point forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine, the crown of your head forward, your tailbone back. And then exhale your chest to your thighs, drape the crown of your head down, your chest on your legs, and you can grab opposite elbows with your hand. Maybe you sway side to side. You can have a generous bend to your knees, as much or as little as you need, right? And then let your hands come down to the ground. Completely exhale. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Oof, reach your arms out and up. And then on your exhale, let your left arm reach down and your right arm up and over. Stretching through the right side body. And then inhale, both arms to the sky. Reach like you mean it. Exhale, your right arm down, your left arm up and over. Stretch through the left side body. And inhale, take both arms high. On the exhale, take your feet a little bit wider. Inhale, reach your fingertips like you mean it. And then exhale your left arm down, your right arm up and over. So taking that little wider stance, see if you feel a little bit more. If you feel this in your low back, take the top of your pubic bone and draw it slightly upward. Then inhale, both arms high. Exhale your right arm down, left arm up and over. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, sit your hips back and down. So it's kind of like, I'm going to have you turn your toes out, heels in. So sit your hips back and down. It's a little bit of like a sumo squat-ish, but not quite as wide. So from here, start with a little bit of pulsation-like movement to warm up your legs, right? So you drop down a little bit and then you come back up. You're more than welcome to take your stance wider. I just happen to be on wood floor, so I don't want my feet to slide. So I'm going to stay kind of here. But I am going to move over into the right leg and then inhale, come back through center. Exhale, shift over to the left and straighten my right leg. So I'm just kind of going side to side, waking up my legs slowly, yeah? You want to be methodical with what's happening. And you'll come back through center. Go ahead, take your feet a little bit closer together, right? And from here, turn your toes forward, your knees forward. Reach your arms up, take an inhale, and then exhale, sit yourself back and down. So lift your chest, pull your bellies in, and then maybe your gaze goes high. Your toes are light, they could lift off of the mat, and that same pulsation movement if you like it, right? So you kind of lift and then lower. And you breathe the whole time you're here. So as you inhale, you're kind of lifting, and as you exhale, you go just a little bit lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale a little bit lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale a little bit lower. Inhale. On your exhale, forward fold. Chest and thighs connect. The crown of your head down. Let everything go. Now, feet about hip-width distance apart. Inhale. And then exhale, take your left hand down. Make an equilateral triangle with your left hand and your feet. You might bend your left knee, straighten your right leg, and then reach your right arm up to the sky. So you're twisting here. Stack your right shoulder on top of the left. Gaze to your right thumb if that is available to you. Keep your hips level and squared if you can, right? Take one more inhale. And exhale, fold yourself down. Inhale. Halfway lift, right hand comes down. Exhale, your chest melts in towards your thighs, but lift your left arm to the sky. Maybe your right knee is bent, left leg straight, but feel back and make sure that your hips are level. Good, y'all. If it's available to straighten both legs, feel free to do so, right? Take one more inhale. Exhale, drop your left hand down. Inhale, reach your right arm to the sky, twisting one more time in each direction. Exhale, drop your right hand down. Inhale your left arm up. And exhale your left hand down and breathe. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Last round. Inhale, bend your knees, sit your hips low. Reach your arms high. Find a chair pose. Now on the exhale, bring your elbows in towards your ribs. Your palms are facing up like you're serving a platter, okay? Relax your shoulders back and down. Zip your belly in and up. And then activate your hands, your palms face up. Your knees are bent, your elbows into the side waist. Open up your collarbones. So you're going to feel kind of a drawing in around your lats, around your rib cage. Good. So just trying to warm up your upper back as well, just a little bit. Inhale, reach your fingertips forward like you're serving that platter. Exhale, bring your elbows back in. Two more just like that. Inhale, reach your arms forward. Exhale, draw your elbows back in. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, your hands come down to the ground. Step your feet back into a downward facing dog. Lift your hips. Pedal out your feet if you need it. Kind of walking your dog, right? Now, inhale, take your right leg up to the sky. 3-leg dog. Exhale, bend your right knee. Stack your hip. Yawn it open, and then maybe you circle it out. So it's the same thing we did on our backs. When we had the big toes touching, we circled out the knee. It's really to open up the hip. So then go in opposite direction. And then you'll inhale, float your right leg high. Exhale, step your right foot all the way forward. Let your left knee soften down to the ground. You're just going to stay here. So your left hip is actually a diagonal line to your knee, but your right knee is tracking over your heel or your ankle. Now, not getting anything weird here, right? I just want you to lift your shoulders over your hips and maybe bring your hands to your hips, right? Roll your shoulders back, zip your low belly in and up, and then notice how the front side of your left hip is opening as you allow it to draw forward and down. Squeeze at the base of your pubic bone so you're supported here. Relax your face, relax your jaw, but allow for that gravitational pull. So you're not just dropping down, but you are acknowledging the fact that as you let your hips move down and forward, there's an increased stretch on your left hip flexor, right? Good. Shoulders back and down. Take one more inhale. Exhale your hands to the inside of your right foot. You might heel toe your right foot over to the right just a little bit more. So you're in this low lizard. I like to gently draw my hips forward while pulling my right heel back, right? So your right heel is rooted into the ground, but as you draw it towards you, increasing kind of everything that's happening. Zip the belly in and up. Come down to the forearms if it's available to you. If you want to roll to the outer edge of your right foot and splay the knee open, that's okay, as long as that's what you're intentionally doing. Now let your hands come back underneath your shoulders. Heel toe your right foot back to the center of your mat. As you inhale, pull your heart forward. Exhale, shift your hips back. Straighten your right leg. You're in your half split. You can have blocks on either side of your right leg. Continue to draw your right toes back towards the shin, specifically your second toe. And then pull your right hip back, your left hip forward. Today, if you need to open up the back side of your leg a little bit more, you can either take your left palm and rub the back side of your leg, or take your knuckles and lightly, don't go too hard, but you can lightly rub your knuckles all across the back of your right leg, kind of into your hamstring, and get into the fascia and get into all of your connective tissue so that it starts to release a little bit of its hold on the muscles, right? And on the tendons and all that stuff. All right, y'all. So from there, shake that out. And then as you inhale, walk yourself back forward. Curl up your back toes. Lift your back knee. And then exhale right back to downward facing dog. Step your right foot back. Pedal out your feet. Maybe you sway side to side for a second. And then inhale your left heel up to the sky. Exhale, bend your left knee. Stack your hip, yawn it open, and then circle it out when you're ready. On the opposite direction as well. And then you inhale your left leg to the sky. Exhale, step your left foot all the way through. Let your right knee come down to the ground. Take your time. Your left knee is a 90 degree. Your right hip is a diagonal, hip to thigh to knee. When you're ready, shoulders over your hips, and then maybe your hands kind of come to your hips or they can rest on your left thigh, right? Allow for your right hip to pull forward and to draw down without dropping. And then squeeze the pit of your belly in. Good. Check in with your tail. you're overly flaring your low back. Think of lengthening your tailbone down towards the ground. It might even feel like a slight tuck, right? Breathe here. Roll your shoulders back. Open up your chest. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, hands down inside of your left foot. Slide your left foot over. And be in this low lizard lunge to start. Left knee over your heel or your ankle. Your knee and your toes point at 12 o'clock. And then roll your shoulders back. Pull your heart forward. You can come down to your forearms if you want a little bit more. It could be a lot more. You can also lift your toes. Turn them out to like 10 or 11 o'clock. Splay open. Just know what you're doing so you know what you're doing, and move slowly into any of these spaces. All right, slowly bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. And then heel toe your left foot back center of your mat. So you're in a low lunge. Inhale, your heart moves forward. Exhale, shift yourself back, half split. Ardha Hanumanasana. You're going to straighten your left leg. Flex your toes back towards your shin. Lengthen your spine. So notice if you're rounding and just kind of dumping down, think about your heart pulling forward and your tailbone pulling back. Blocks on either side of your left leg are totally valid if you want the ground to be a little bit closer to you. And then while you're here, if it feels good to take your right palm and kind of massage the back of your leg, have at it. If you want to take your knuckles and go lightly, you can do that too. Yeah? Good, y'all. Just breathe into whatever it is that you're doing. Yeah? And then let your right hand come back down to the ground. On the inhale, walk yourself back forward. Curl up your back toes. Lift your back knee. Exhale, step your left foot to the back of your mat. Downward facing dog. Inhale your knees and your shins down to the ground. And then exhale your hips to your heels. Take a quick child's pose. Reset. Drape your torso on top of your thighs. You can roll your forehead side to side. And then as you inhale, come up onto your hands and your knees. Find your strap, and on the exhale, sit back onto your heels. Now, if you just hate this, like sitting on your bent knees, like on your shins, sit on your bottom, right? It's fine. It's all good. You can sit on a block here as well in between your heels, right? Now, grab onto your strap. We've done this before. If you don't have a strap, it's fine. A towel, a t-shirt. You can also honestly do this without anything at all. I'm going to face forward so that you can see me here. And you're going to take your strap for shoulder flossing, right? And then lift your arms. So you've got either end of your strap in your hands. Now take your arms up overhead. And then be gentle. So maybe you need to bend your elbows a little bit. You're going to work your strap back behind you and then let it come forward, right? So you'll know how much space you need between your hands by how approachable and accessible this is. I like to tell you, I am hypermobile in my shoulder joints. So what I do is not necessarily what's going to be appropriate for your upper back, your shoulders, your body, right? So here, at some point, maybe you start to work your strap back behind you. So you can see my arms just go all the way around. Most people's do not do that. And then come forward. Bring your strap to the tops of your thighs. The closer your hands get together, the more challenging this becomes. Yeah? So just know that going into it. Breathe. Keep your belly pulled in to support your low back. So don't forget about everything else just because the shoulders have become intense, right? Breathe in. Know that you're breathing in. And breathe out. And know that you're breathing out. Let's take maybe 2 more of those. All right, so from here, y'all, take your strap and just kind of throw it over your left shoulder, right? And then, let's start on this side. That's fine. That's perfect. Take your right arm, reach it up, and then drop your right fingertips in between your shoulder blades. Okay, so you might have to drop a little bit more strap down the back. Now take your left arm out to the side body with your thumb pointing up to start, and then internally rotate your upper arm bone so your thumb now points down, and reach back around the small of your back and catch your strap. Now from here, so going into what's called Gomukhasana, cow face, start to work your hands closer to one another on your strap. Some of you, your hands will touch and your fingers will clasp, right? Don't force that. Just if it happens, it happens. But that's kind of what you're working towards, right? And then let the back of your skull press into that soft space of your right forearm, like the bottom side. And slight lift of your chin. Pull your belly in and up. Good, y'all. I'm looking over there like I can see you. And then if you like it, you're more than welcome to kind of round and fold forward. I'm going to stay lifted today, so you do you. Take maybe 2 more breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale, slowly release. If you need to kind of roll out your shoulders, do that. And then you guessed it, flip your strap over on the other shoulder. Let your strap kind of hang down your back so you've got something to work with. And then inhale, left arm up, drop your left fingertips in between your shoulder blades and grab onto your strap. Then take your right arm out to the side body, thumb facing up. And then internally rotate your upper arm bone so now your thumb is facing down. And wrap your right arm around the small of your back. Reach your fingertips up towards your left hand, right? So now you're trying to get your hands to come closer together. Back of your skull into your left forearm area and slight lift of your chin. You have the option once you're here to fold down if that feels good to you. Breathe in and breathe out. Two more breaths. Take a deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly release your strap. Roll out your shoulders. Do whatever you need to do. And then you can come onto your hands and your knees. Lift your feet and roll out your ankles for a second. And then I want you to come back on to your heels, but this time tuck your toes underneath you for just a moment so you stretch out all that space between your toe pedals and the ball mounds of your feet, yeah? And then from there, inhale, interlace your fingers, but keep your palms facing towards you to start and reach your arms forward. So it's almost like you're hugging a big ball and then dome out your upper back. Tuck your chin. And then as you inhale, lengthen, bring your hands close to you and then flip your palms away from you and do the same thing. Tuck your chin, dome out your upper back. Take one more inhale. And then slowly release. Come on to your hands and knees as you exhale. So box pose. Root down into the 4 corners of your left hand. Inhale, reach your right arm up to the sky. And then exhale, thread the needle, your right arm underneath the left. Come down onto your right ear, your temple. And then keep your left hand where it is for a moment. Once you get here, if you just love this, I'm going to give you another place you can go. If this is a lot, you could place your bolster in between your hamstrings and your calves so that you can kind of rest your bottom down onto something soft. If you need a little bit more today, I'm going to give you this option. You've got to pull your belly in, place your left hand down onto the ground. Make sure you're nice and supported, but you can start to walk your legs out long behind you to where your belly comes down onto the ground. It's going to be a little bit more for your shoulder, depending on, right? Your right ear, your right temple are still down on the ground. Now maybe your left arm reaches forward or wraps around the small of your back in a half bind. And that's if your belly is down or your knees are still on the ground. Either way, right? Relax your glutes. If you're flat on your belly, I realized I was clenching, so if you're doing that, kind of soften. And if you're all the way down on your belly, could you start to work your left armpit towards your right elbow? Maybe your forehead comes down to the ground instead of your right ear. Now if you are down on your belly, you're going to bring your left hand back in front of your face if it moved, and then very slowly kind of press yourself back up onto your knees. And then everybody, wherever your left hand went, bring it back in front of your face. Inhale, press your left palm down, reach your right arm to the sky, and then exhale, drop your right hand down. Inhale your left arm up, and exhale, thread the needle, left arm underneath your right. Your left ear and temple come down to the ground. You stay here first. Make sure that you actually need more before you bite off that next piece, right? Navel draws in and up. You're here. If you're like, I just really don't feel anything, or I do feel something, but I still need more, press your right palm down. I'm going to scoot forward a little bit, actually, so I'm back on the mat. And start to walk your feet out until your belly and your hips come down. Maybe your forehead comes down instead of your left ear. You feel it out. And then when you're in either of those spaces, your right arm can either reach forward, even if you're still on your knees with your hips up in the sky, your right arm can also wrap around the small of your back. If you are down on your belly and your right arm is reaching forward, at some point you're trying to take your right armpit to your left elbow crease and your forehead down. Maybe, if you really, really needed more, your right ear to the ground. Just keep breathing. Relax your hips and your glutes. You can shake it side to side. Now if you're down on your belly, and your arms changed at all, bring your right hand back in front of your face. And then slowly start to bring your toes to the ground, and then you're going to shimmy your knees back underneath you, nice and slow. Good, y'all. And then everybody bring your right hand back in front of your face. And then you inhale, float your left arm up to the sky. And exhale, bring your left hand down to the ground. On your inhale, take a soft belly down, lift your chin, lift your tail. And exhale, navel to your spine, dome out your upper back and drop the crown of your head down. Stay right here, neutral spine as you inhale. Now walk your hands forward, leave your hips over your knees and drape your chest down as you exhale. Your first krama, your first variation is to bring your forehead down. If that fits like a glove, you could bring your chin down and take your gaze forward. Breathe here. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, walk your hands back, your hips to your heels, and find child's pose. Let your forehead hang down, and then maybe your arms reach back towards your heels. If you would like a rabbit's pose, you're going to bring your knees together, your hands touch your heels. Come to the crown of your head and bring your forehead in towards your knees. And then you would inhale and lift up onto your knees so your hips would lift, tucking your chin. And then slowly let your hips come back down towards your heels. And then on your inhale, lift yourself back up. You're going to find a box pose. And then exhale, seated pose, whatever that is for you. Eventually bringing your legs out in front of you. If you have a bolster and you want to take your feet a little bit wider and slide your bolster in between your legs and then just fold on top of your bolster, you absolutely can. If you want to go into a more active Paschimottanasana, your seated forward fold, you'll bring your legs together, kind of move all your stuff out of the way. Inhale your arms up overhead, and then exhale, fold over your thighs. This is where, if you're using a pillow at home or a bolster, it looks kind of like this, you know? Like you would have your bolster here, your knees and your toes would still point up, so that you're not, you know, overextending anything, and you could drape down. So this just creates a support for your upper body. Your arms would rest down next to your legs or your bolster. Whichever variation you chose, let's take 5 more breaths there. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last 3. 2. And 1. And then slowly let your hands come down to the ground. Roll your vertebra one at a time till you're right back with your shoulders over your hips. Roll your shoulders out. Move your, whatever you've got, bolster, pillow, whatever. And you're going to slide forward just a little bit so that as you come down flat on your back, your head lands on your mat. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest. Now just one spinal twist. Open your arms to a T as you inhale. Then drop your knees over to the right and turn your face to the left as you exhale. Allow both shoulders to soften down to the ground to take that final wringing out of your practice. And then your next Inhale, bring your knees back through center. And exhale, drop them to the left and turn your face to the right. And then as you inhale, come right back through center. On the exhale, drop your feet down to the ground for a moment. Maybe windshield wiper your knees side to side if you need just like a little bit of fluid release. And then bring your knees back in and press your feet into the sky. You're more than welcome to take a supported variation of waterfall, legs up the wall. You would bring your feet to the ground and then you would lift your hips and slide a block underneath your sacrum. And then from there, lift your legs back up. So whatever works better for you, supported, not supported. This is your practice, so kind of do what you need to close down. Relax your brows, your jaw. Let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. Maybe turn your face side to side for a moment. And then when you're ready, if you have a block underneath you, first you're going to bring your feet down to the ground. Inhale, lift your hips, slide the block out. And then exhale, bring your hips back down. We're all going to meet hugging the knees in towards the chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Take an inhale. And then full wind removing pose. Exhale, knees to your forehead. Take one more inhale. And exhale, Shavasana. Extend your legs forward. Let your feet hang comfortably open. Your arms come down by the side body. Your palms face up. Relax your shoulders back and down. Breathe in and out and rest. What you need is to be here a little bit longer. I really just want you to tune me out and stay right where you are. Otherwise, begin to deepen your breath. To wiggle your fingers and your toes. And on your inhale, float your arms up overhead. Find your full body stretch. And then exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest and wrap your arms around your shins. Take your time as you roll over to the left or rock straight up to your comfortable easy sit, just right where you Allow for your shoulders to roll back and down. Sit up nice and tall. Take that final moment to be grateful for your body, what it does for you today. To be hopeful for tomorrow. Appreciate you all for showing up on your mats this morning or whenever it is that you take this practice. Because sometimes the work is not easy. Sometimes the work is hard. And maybe that was this practice for you today, right? Maybe it's everything else that's happening. But that's why we keep showing back up, because this can remain a constant, your practice. And some days it's just unrolling your mat and stepping on it and then rolling it back up. Some days it's everything else. So have a great rest of your day. Peace be with each and every one of you. Namaste.